MetsMusings is an unofficial, independent podcast covering New York's National League Baseball team. It is not affiliated in any way with Major League Baseball or the New York Mets.
Now it's time for some New York Mets baseball talk. Here's Gary Mack bringing you the latest news and analysis from Mets Nation and the world of baseball on another edition of Mets Musings.
And hello and welcome to another edition of Mets Musings. I hope everybody had a great week out there, enjoyed last week's show, and summer camp is open for the Metsies. They're practicing. Not a lot to report, but we'll find some stuff to put together a show, of course. The big news, of course, is today is July the 9th, and it's supposed to be the deadline for offers to come in to buy the Mets. Steve Cohen is back in the running, and everybody says he's the favorite. He had a deal already with the Wilpons. That deal fell through. Apparently, they patched up their differences, and he is back into the running of purchasing the New York Mets. And let's keep our fingers crossed that this goes fast. Everybody, a lot of the Met fans seem to want Cohen to get the Mets. So he's a lifelong Met fan. He's a billionaire, got plenty of money. So we'll see how it plays out. A-Rod and J-Lo are still involved in this. I guess they put in a bid, will be putting in a bid, along with another couple of a guy from Long Island who we mentioned in last week's show. Can't think of his name right now, but they're still involved. Couple of other groups involved, but the talk has been all about Steve Cohen. And Cohen seems to have the inside track. Everybody agrees with that, and we'll see what happens. Can he pull it off? Can he come back and make this deal with the Wilpons and become the next owner of the New York Mets? Everybody hopes so. Keeping our fingers crossed. So what does that mean for Brodie Van Wagenen if Steve Cohen comes in? Well, who knows? But I will say this. I think Brodie will get another year after this one. Unless it's somebody from the outside that gets the bid to buy this team. Then they may have other people that they want to bring in. But being that Cohen was a minority owner, he's been here. I could be totally wrong. I don't think you're going to see a lot of major changes right away. As far as personnel goes, I think Brodie will be allowed to stay. I think Rojas could be another story. Not sure. A lot's going to depend upon what happens in these 60 games as far as Rojas goes, but I don't know. If Cohen comes in, does Brodie get his ear and want to bring in A.J. Hinch, who will be coming off of suspension at the end of this year? Or does he want to keep Rojas? And again, I mean, if Rojas goes out and wins the World Series and they become champions, you can't get rid of them, obviously. But if they finish below 500, you might be able to make a move in that direction. I don't know. We'll have to see. But it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting couple of months to see who gets the wins the bid and what they decide to do with this team. It's just a question of time now, I think. They said that they definitely want to sell. July 9th was the cutoff to put in a bid, and that is today, my friends. So we'll see what direction that's going to take. Keep your fingers crossed. Uncle Stevie could be coming in. All right, good news on the Mets front that the Mets did have one player that tested positive. You remember that from a couple of weeks ago. But no COVID-19 players have shown up at the complex. So nobody has tested at this summer camp that they're doing in Citi Field. So that is a good thing that we're not seeing any of that stuff going on. What we have seen in some of the workouts that's been reported is that Yoenis Cespedes is working out at first base. I think that's kind of a crowded position. I don't know how they're going to work it out. You have Alonso, who hit 53 homers last year. What are you going to do with him? Not let him play there? You still got Dom Smith. No word whether he's been working out in left field at all. So he's your other backup first baseman. So now you got Cespedes that can play first. J.D. Davis, who is not real, what I call a glove man at any position. It's a crowded spot right now. And to add Cespedes to the mix, I guess the idea is that on a day that Alonso needs a break, they can play Cespedes at first, but normally you would play Smith at that point in time. So what the thinking is, I don't know. The whole idea, I thought of this DH, was to stick Cespedes in that role and let him play. Let him play some left field. I don't know. Maybe he's not capable of outfield yet. They can figure he can move somewhat at first base. He can play first. We'll see how it all comes about. Does make him a little bit more valuable for trading, and it opens up more teams to trade him to. That's a definite, because they could use him at first base or some other team, perhaps. He's on the last year of a contract. I don't know. We'll see. But Cespedes is working out at first base. McNeil is hitting the ball hard all over the place, popping a lot of home runs, and I'm not sure I like that. I want to see McNeil keep the ball line drives and in the ballpark, opposite field, that sort of thing. I'm looking at my list here to see what I jotted down. So, yeah, Alonso says he's going to have some antics this year for the team. I don't know what that means, but Pete, look, just concentrate on playing baseball, okay? It's your sophomore season. You don't know what's going to happen. It's a short season. My friend, if you get off to a slow start, it could ruin the whole season. It's only 60 games. So you don't want to get too cocky at this point in the season. So keep the antics down. You know, do the 60 and let's see where it goes from there, okay? Don't worry about doing anything above and beyond what you're capable of doing. All right, let's take a quick break and come back after these messages.
Looking for great Cardinals talk? Then check out Conversations with C70. My name's Daniel Shoptaw, and I talk with some of the great bloggers on the internet today about their teams. It always comes back to the Cardinals. Find the latest episode on my website, www.cardinal70.com, or at baseballpodcast.net.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for interesting baseball talk, opinions, and history.
Baseball and BBQ, your place for barbecue recipes, tips, and interviews from the world of barbecue. If you like baseball and if you like barbecue, then tune in to Baseball and BBQ. Find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, and BaseballTalkRadio.com, along with MetsMusings and other great baseball podcasts.
With all the Mets news, it is the news from around the world and around the corner. Here's Gary Mack.
Hi, this is Ron Darling with SNY TV. You know me from covering the Mets, and I hope you get a chance to listen to Mets Musings with Gary Mack. I had a great time. I hope you do too.
Hi, I'm Ron Swoboda of the 69 New York Mets, and you're listening to Mets Musings with Gary Mack.
And we're back, and let's see what else we got on the list. Oh, yeah, the Mets are joining what some other teams are doing, and that is they are going to sell cardboard cutouts of season ticket holders. So if you're a season ticket holder and you want to be at the game, I guess, if you want to call it that, you can buy a cardboard cutout of yourself, and they'll put it, I guess, in your seat. I guess whatever games you have tickets for. I don't know. This is an idea that the Oakland A's started and then was also done. I think the San Francisco Giants are doing it. Now the Mets are going to do it as well. I guess it's so people, the players can see some faces in the crowd. I don't really know what it's the purpose is behind it, but I guess that's it. And the Mets are to host the 20th anniversary of 9/11 next year on 9/11, 2021. The Mets will host a game against the Yankees, so that game will be coming to Citi Field on the 20th anniversary. It's going to be probably a very emotional game. Hopefully next year we'll be able to actually go to a game. Be ashamed to have a game like that without any people in the stands like this year so far. But that's what the Mets are going to do. They're going to host that game versus the Yankees to celebrate the anniversary of the 20th year of 9/11 and the bombing of the World Trade Tower. So that's it. Cardboard cutouts and hosting the anniversary game. And that's about it. That's what I got on my list for this week. It's a quickie show, but not too much to report yet. You know, we'll see whether or not the schedule has been released. I should cover that as well. Schedule has been released, and of course the Mets are going to have a very difficult start. They've got the Braves, the Red Sox, the Braves again, and the Nationals, and that's just the first week in July, or the first week or week and a half of the season before we get into August. So it's not going to be an easy start. But the Nationals are missing some players. The Braves are missing some players that are opting out of the season. And the Red Sox are not as good as they were. They have some weak spots this year, but they're always dangerous anyway. So we have to consider that anyway. But that's going to wrap it up for this week's show. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll join me next week. Working on getting a guest for next week's show. So I want to thank you for listening, and I hope that you'll subscribe at iTunes, Google Podcasts, Google Play, whatever they call it, Overcast, wherever you watch or view the program. Hit the subscribe button. It helps us to grow the show and to bring in new listeners. And until next time, remember to keep the faith, stay optimistic, and let's go Mets. And I'll see you next time on another edition of Mets Musings.